What's going on, everybody? This is Dunamis Ball. Um, Today's been a theme, right? It's been North Carolina high school basketball players. We did Michael Jordan, we did Pistol Pete Maravich. Now we got your boy, Steph, the chef, Curry. Man, this guy was different, man. This guy is different. I mean, if you watched him the other night, him and Steve Kerr, they got that chemistry, man. They got the connection, man. They've been doing this for a while. They built a dynasty over there in Golden State. Shout out to Jerry West for building that. Jerry West, a legend as a player, legend as a GM. Helped build the Lakers with Kobe and Shaq. Helped build the Golden State Warriors with Clay, Steph, this whole team. Um, Crazy, man. Crazy, man. Steph Curry, man. This is a dude named after his father, Wardell, or more popularly known as Del Curry. Del Curry was a 6'4" two guard, played for the Charlotte Hornets, the Toronto Raptors. He was an NBA player, and as you've seen, if you've seen the video with Isaiah Thomas, or you've seen the video with Kobe Bryant, a lot, or the video with Pistol Pete Maravich, a lot of the time, what helps guys get to the NBA is they know somebody, either the parent or they grew up with guys that were playing in the NBA, right? So when you have somebody who's played in the NBA or is playing in the NBA, it makes it seem more attainable for you, right? Anybody in here, feel free to let me know any questions you have. Feel free to drop them in the chat. Feel free to like the video. Feel free to subscribe. Check out some of the other videos we've done today. Kobe Bryant, Michael Jordan. So Steph, he was born in Akron, Ohio. Obviously we know LeBron is from Akron, Ohio, and you saw what they were doing in that Team USA game the other day, right? Steph Curry, I believe he was born there because might have been a game against the Cleveland Cavaliers. So his mother had him in a hospital in Akron. And I remember when Steph was in high school, man, this guy, he went to Charlotte Christian Academy in Charlotte, North Carolina. His brother Seth went there as well. They moved around, obviously, because when your father plays in the NBA, you get traded, you move around, and that's one of the things of the NBA that people don't really realize. Like, your family goes along with you, so it's a ride for the family, not just the player. And Steph grew up going to the Hornets games, grew up, knowing Alonzo Mourning, Muggsy Bogues, all those guys, right? And yeah, Steph was a guy who wasn't really super highly recruited, maybe like a maximum, I would say maximum, thinking back, he was a 3-star recruit, like maximum. You know what I mean? He was a 2, 3-star recruit. And he's from like the school of like Kawhi Leonard, like, you know, Paul George. Jesus say, heck yeah, Jesus saves. Heck yeah, in Jesus' name. Steph Curry also is he's a believer in Christ. You know, thank you for saying that. Jesus saves, in Jesus' name, amen. That's what I do. That's why this channel is called Dunamis. Um, yeah, appreciate you, appreciate the like. Yeah, so Steph's playing in Charlotte Christian Academy, and I remember in 2006, I'm like, yo, this is Del Curry's son. You know what I'm saying? I'm looking at this kid. I'm like, okay, this is what he looks like. You know what I mean? And Steph's skinnier back then, and he's a little bit shorter. He's a little bit shorter at this time. So you got to think, Steph's not a kid that played AAU. Steph is a little bit shorter. You know what I mean? He's about 6'2" now, so he was maybe about 6'1" back then. And in 2006, 2005, like, ACC schools are not really going to recruit a 6'1" shooting guard who's not really athletic. Like Steph wasn't even able to dunk until like sophomore year of college, right? So he's not a guy getting all the ACC looks, even though he's in North Carolina. You know, Wake Forest is not recruiting him. UNC, Chapel Hill, NC State, none of these schools are recruiting him, right? Um, so he's doing the best that he can, and it's like the ongoing joke. It's the joke. There was a player at DeMatha High School. Um, and DeMatha High School is a legendary high school. It's in the Maryland area, if anybody knows. They were coached by, the coach, legendary coach who basically jump started the program, Morgan Wooten. And Morgan Wooten is a guy, he's one of the few high school basketball coaches who's in the Hall of Fame. Him, St. Anthony's coach, Bob Hurley, who's the father of Dan Hurley, the University of Connecticut coach. And then his other son, Bobby Hurley Jr., played at Duke with Christian Laettner and also played in the NBA for the Sacramento Kings. So those two are legendary coaches. DeMatha had, I think, Dennis Scott, who played in Orlando. I think he went there with Shaq and Penny Hardaway. Markel Fultz, who plays in Orlando now, went to DeMatha. The Grants, so Jeri Grant, Jeremy Grant, they went to DeMatha. Um, DeMatha is Austin Freeman, if you remember Austin Freeman. If anybody in the chat or anybody's from that Maryland area, DeMatha is a legendary school, and and the player from DeMatha, um, he got that people say that he got the spot over Steph Curry at Virginia Tech, right? So Virginia Tech was the school where Steph Curry's father, Del Curry, played. So people like, yo, why don't you give him the shot? And they basically just offered him like a walk-on spot, I believe. So as the story goes, as the story goes, Steph ends up going to Davidson. I believe he played under Coach McKillop, and McKillop wanted him to come as he was. You know what I mean? He wasn't like, yo, you gotta get bigger, you gotta get stronger, you gotta get this, you gotta. He's like, yo, I want to. He appreciated what Steph brought to the game. His mother appreciated that, and Steph goes there, man. I remember in 2007, 2007, like I believe that was the Sweet 16 run, if anybody remembers that. So Davidson's I think they were in the SoCon back then, the Southern Conference. Davidson's a small school. Davidson probably has like 1,000 kids. It's a very small school. They probably just started online courses like a few years ago, right? Maybe just a little bit before the pandemic. I mean, Steph Curry had to go back to campus literally to get his degree. You know what I mean? So Davidson's not a big school. They were in the Southern Conference. They might be in the Atlantic 10 now. But Steph, he goes there, and sophomore year they have a crazy run, and they beat Georgetown. And this is back when Georgetown was still killing college basketball. So they had Hibbert, Roy Hibbert, I believe, was there at that time. Jeff Green, I believe, was there at that time, right? Jeff Green's another Maryland guy. I'm not sure where he went to high school, but he's a Maryland guy. Relating that back to DeMatha High School in Maryland. And we can get into it. What state or what area has the best basketball? But I would say the DMV, DC, Maryland, Virginia is definitely up there in some of the best basketball players the game has seen. Alonzo Mourning out of Virginia. Um, I did a video on that. I might throw some of those into shorts just to let that be known. Alonzo Mourning, Virginia. Um, Grant Hill. Grant Hill's mother worked at the Pentagon. Um, with I believe she went to college with Hillary Clinton. But yeah, that area had some good basketball, and Steph's I believe his freshman and sophomore year they played the tournament. He brought Davidson on the map. Like nobody really remembered Davidson before that. Back then, I used to do a lot of I was helping a lot of kids get into colleges, so I was aware of like a lot of these schools, but Davidson wasn't really like a school that was like making the tournament or anything like that. But Steph got there, he put them on the map for life. When people think of Davidson University, they think of Steph Curry, you know. And his junior year, because he didn't play his senior year, his junior year, his last year in college, he switched over to the point guard. The point guard that they had before had graduated. That point guard is actually his manager right now, or his agent. It might be his agent right now. He put that guy. He put the point guard through Stanford Business School, which is arguably the best business school in the country, right? So he built that relationship, that bond that still lasts to this day. And Steph is in the '09 draft. If I'm correct, '09 draft. Anybody in the chat, let me know. But if I'm correct, '09 draft. So '08 draft was Derrick Rose, right? If anybody remembers Derrick Rose. Well, Derrick Rose still in the NBA. '08 draft was Derrick Rose, and I believe '09 draft was you can correct me if I'm wrong. '09 draft, right? '09 draft should be is it John Wall? Right. So Steph's coming in the draft, and in my mind, when Steph's coming in the league, I'm expecting him to be like a JJ Redick, like come off screens type of guy, come off the bench. I'm like, in the role of like Steve Kerr, his coach, or like one of those guys, he comes off screen because he wasn't a real point guard, and he was a little bit small for a shooting guard. So at that time, as I was alluding to in a previous video, like when you're shorter, like you're under 6'4", under 6'5", like they would turn everybody into a point guard. So Steph had played point guard his senior year. Um well, it's not his junior year in college, right? At Davidson, but they didn't make the tournament that year. Maybe their team was a little bit weaker. Maybe, him playing the point was a little bit of a struggle. They made the NIT and they played against Patty Mills, who was at St. Mary's at the time. Um, and you know, it was interesting early in Steph's career. If anybody remembers early Steph Curry, first few years of his career, it was a little bit tough. He had a lot of ankle injuries. He had a lot of ankle injuries, man. It was like year after year after year. It's like, when is this guy gonna, you know what I mean? Like you didn't know if he was ever really gonna put it together. Um, and then I believe it was 2012. Um, like they might have got Mark Jackson in like 2011, right? And Mark Jackson, he kind of changes the identity, right? He turns them into a defensive team. Him, Clay Thompson. What's up, Nella? We're doing Steph Curry. Yeah, so he turns them into a defensive team. Um, and Clay Thompson ends up being one of the best wing defenders of his generation. Steph Curry, what's up, Nella? Thanks for coming back. Much appreciated. Hope you're having a. What time is it over there in Portugal? Anyway, what time is it over in Portugal right now? Appreciate you. Yeah, so he turns them into a defensive team, and they're built on like this is 2000. This is the 2010s, early 2010s. So like basketball was still built on like inside out, right? And like nobody believed that like a jump shooting team could win a title, and their two best players were, well, their two latter best players would be jump shooters and Clay and Steph, right? Oh, you're in Switzerland? 1 a.m. Wow. So it's 1 a.m. in Switzerland? Um, and what happened was, um, They get the new management. Lake Up, I believe. They get the new management, ownership management, and they decide to go in a different direction. They decide to bring in okay, cool, 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 cool. How do you like it? How do you like it in Switzerland? They decide to bring in Steve Kerr. I believe Steve Kerr at that time was picking between New York and Golden State, and Golden State had a little bit more. They had guys on burgeoning on, becoming great, great, great players. So he decided to go with that particular team, and then Jerry West is putting things. Jerry West put some things together, and it was interesting because at that time, and so we're talking like 2013, I believe it was his first year, and it was built off David Lee, but David Lee ended up getting hurt. So David Lee was their big man. He came from the University of Florida. He played with the Knicks. I believe he was an All Star with the Knicks. And their offense was really, he was their top gun, like as well, Clyde Frazier would say, he was their number one player, and Steph Curry was like their second best player. But and Steph might have made the first All Star team in like 2012, 2013. But it was built around David Lee. David Lee goes down, he gets hurt, and then Draymond Green comes into the starting lineup. So the year in 2012 and the year um 2013, Steve Kerr comes. He's the coach. Steph Curry wins MVP. He's 30 a night, like 35 and 5. Um he's just dominating the league. And you could just see how the game had changed exponentially. Like he was probably shooting like six threes a game. He was like probably in double figures, probably in 3-point attempts per game. Right. So him and Clay, their roles just the game started changing. It was very 3-point heavy because a lot of the analytics were coming into play, and they're like, wait, if I shoot three pointers are worth more than two. Right. So if I hit 10 3-pointers and you hit 10 2-pointers, you still lose by 10. Right. So it just makes more sense to shoot a lot more threes. Um, and The thing is, Steph became MVP, Clay became an All Star, and Draymond Green became a starter, and that was the beginning of the dynasty. That was the beginning of the dynasty, and they won it that year, um, which was crazy. Um, and then that was 2013, and then 20 the next season, I believe they won it again, and Steph gets unanimous MVP. And then come 2016, that's the year where they break the all-time record, right? So they're 73-9. So they're the best team pretty much the NBA has ever seen. And if you remember back to that NBA Finals, um, they play against the Cleveland Cavs, right? And they're playing against the Cleveland Cavs 2015, 2015. Uh, Wait, they won the title in 2015. They're going against the Cavs, and yeah, I think they did win the title in 2015. Yeah, I think they did win the title in 2015. 14 and 15. Yeah, 2014 and 15 they won the title. Yeah, you're right. And then 16 they lose to Cleveland when LeBron like it was LeBron, it was Kyrie, LeBron, Kevin Love, and that famous call where LeBron James gets called for a where Draymond Green gets called for that like flagrant or technical, and then he's out for the game. It's still controversial to this time, but he's out for the game, and then Cleveland ends up winning the series. And I would say that's the greatest championship of LeBron James' career. I mean, he won 2 in Miami, in he went there '09. So 11 and 12, I believe, and then lost in 13. 2023. Yeah, yep. They won in 2023, and they also um wait, they won it. Yeah, okay. So yeah, so it was 15. What's Darren? They won in 15, lost in 16, and I think they won in 17 and 18, and that's when they got Kevin Durant. So, a little backstory, Kevin Durant, I believe they made finals in 2012. Uh Go that was we were talking about UNC a little bit earlier. Why, you from North Carolina? Yeah, there's a story Curry, exactly. Um yeah. So they make it to the finals. So it was Kevin Durant, it was Russell Westbrook, James Harden, Nick Collison, Serge Ibaka, all those dudes. They were young dudes back in OKC, but they couldn't really hang with the Cleveland Cavs. So I mean the Miami Heat. The Miami Heat, they formed that big three. If you remember, it was Chris Bosh, it was LeBron James, it was Dwayne Wade. Dwayne Wade had won a title with Shaq in '06, and they beat yeah, Stereo, yeah. Oh, Anthony Black. Yeah, you're Anthony Black guy. Yeah, he's out in Orlando, right? Anthony Black, I forgot where he went to school though. What college did Anthony Black go to school at? I know he's with Orlando. He seems like a nice kid though. Seems like a nice kid. Um, are you from North Carolina, Darren? So Steph, right? So they make it to the finals, but they're unable to capitalize, right? They're Oklahoma. Okay. Yeah, yeah. Shout out to um Messi or Ronaldo. You might not like my answer on that one, but I like them both. I think they're both great players. I kind of, I tried to go to the Messi game in New Jersey. Oh, you're not from North Carolina? Okay. Where are you from? I tried to go to the game. I saw a little bit of it. I was at the stadium when they played New Jersey, but I would love to see him and Suarez play with Miami. But yeah, Ronaldo's a legend. Like Ronaldo's great. Like, you know what I mean? They're different players, but they're all cool. They're great players, you know? They're both great players. Yeah. I think Messi, you know what I think? Messi helped himself when they won the World Cup. I was born in Chicago, but I moved to Iowa when I was younger. Oh, nice. Iowa. So are you a Caitlin Clark fan then in Iowa? Yeah, um so that's a little bit of the back leading up to how what happened with Kevin Durant. So they had made it to the finals back when they had that young core, him and Russell Westbrook and James Harden, but they weren't unable to finish it. So he decides in free agency to go to Golden State. And this was controversial because Golden State had just had the 73-9 record. You like Angel Reese? Wow. Okay, Angel Reese is having a good rookie year. I don't know who's gonna get rookie of the year between Angel Reese and Caleb Clark, but they're propelling the league. I did a little video on that, but I might do it again, how they like propelling the WNBA. But yeah, and Steph wanted, Steph was, Kevin Durant was probably feeling the pressure. You know what I mean? They're like, yo, you're a great player, but you don't have a title. right? He led the league in scoring a few times. He was an MVP, but he had no title. So he decides to join the greatest team of all time in Golden State, and they rattle off a few titles, right? They rattle off a few titles, and you know, there was some controversy between him and one of his teammates, and he decides to leave. But you think Bronny could be a starter this year? Wow. Um, LeBron James. You like LeBron James? Yeah, I'm gonna probably do LeBron James next. But yeah, he could probably yeah, I respect Bronny. It's a lot of pressure that he's under, man. That dude's under a lot of pressure. Um, I wish him the best. I think he's a solid kid, like a solid human being though. Um, yeah, I mean Steph, and then Golden State has to regroup, right? As Nello was saying, they had to regroup for a few years. 2023, 2022, I think they had a really bad year. I don't even think they made the playoffs. They might have made like the playing game or whatever, but 2023, Steph comes back. He's a little bit stronger. He's playing really good defense. I think, yeah, there was some problems with KD and one of his teammates. You know, they got into a little thing. Not a little. It was pretty public. But yeah, it was a little bit of a problem. I don't know if he would have stayed. If you ask me, I doubt he would have stayed, but it definitely made it easy for him to leave. But I think it was another sense, it was good for Steph. Oh, West Ham? Yeah, I mean, maybe, but I think honestly, do you think anybody could beat Man City though? Man City, Arsenal, Liverpool, I feel like they've been the class of the Premier League, right? Um, yeah, and they come back in 2023, they win that title. Um, and Steph really and Steph really proved that he could win it either way. Like he didn't need like some other superstar, or that he could lead the team. And that year he was able to win Finals MVP. You know what I mean? And if you look at the story of Steph Curry, man, he's super unlikely. You know what I mean? He revolutionized the game. Like teams were building to figure them out, particularly Houston, right? Their GM, like this guy's doing all the analytics. He's creating teams just to beat Golden State, and it's not working. For whatever reason, they were unable to do it. Okay, 2025 roster is strong. Okay, I gotta check them out. Maybe they could dethrone Man City. Somebody's got to do it at some point. Um, yeah, I mean, you look at it. There was the one year where the Houston Rockets were really close, right? They were really close, and then Chris Paul gets hurt. If anybody remembers that year, Chris Paul gets hurt, and then they're unable to dethrone Golden State. And then the year after, still didn't work. I mean, that year Kevin Durant goes down and Chris Paul was playing and they still didn't win. And that was the year, that was 2019. That was 2019 when the Toronto Raptors ended up beating Golden State in the finals. But Kevin Durant obviously was hurt that year. And Kawhi Leonard just he went on a crazy tear that finals. All right, let me get into some of these. Do I watch the NFL? Who's your favorite NFL team? Who I got winning? Jake Paul, Mike Tyson. Oof, man, I think it's tough to beat Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson is a legend. Kendrick or Drake? I don't really listen to either one of them. Um, Drake is Drake is Drake. I think Kendrick's probably the greatest. Um, just in terms of his albums, but yeah, just in terms of his albums, I would say Kendrick. But I didn't listen to like the latest one. It was a little different for me. It was a little spiritual, and it was a little, you know, not for me. But like in terms of who I think is the greatest, probably I think Kendrick's maybe the best rapper, but Drake had the greatest career. My favorite NFL team is West Ham your favorite, Nella, is West Ham your favorite, Premier League team? And Darren, NFL team. Your cousin plays for the Chargers. Okay, who's your cousin? Your favorite team is Chicago. Okay, I could understand that. You were born in Chicago, right? Oh, Man City's your favorite. Man City's your favorite Premier League team? Oh, wow. That is very cool. What position does your cousin play? Is he a DB, like a corner or a safety? Yeah, man. Steph is a unique player because I like even thinking back to when he was in high school, um I never thought that Steph was going to be this good. I mean, maybe his father did, but I don't even know if his father knew that Steph was going to revolutionize basketball in that way. I mean, you could see the ripple effect of what Steph did. You could see it in Dame Lillard. Dame Lillard gets drafted really high because of the success of Steph Curry. Obviously Jimmer Fredette, he was pushed to be like a Steph Curry type player. Trey Young, a lot of these like smaller guards, a lot of these like long distance 3-point shooting guards, you know, off the dribble, taking shots that people consider bad shots. They revolutionized basketball. So I think a lot of kids and a lot of people owe Steph Curry a lot of thanks for what he did for the game because he's more relatable. He's not super tall. He's not super athletic. He's just a regular dude who was like some skinny kid with a baby face who mastered the game and he revolutionized his era. And you saw what he did in the last game for Team USA. Oh, your cousin plays running back? Oh, that's awesome, dude. That's awesome. I think, yeah, Cole Anthony, Anthony Black. They have a lot of guards though, right? They have Cole Anthony, they have Anthony Black, um they have Suggs, they have Markel Fultz. It's like 4 point guards right there. I don't know. I don't know what they're I imagine they're not gonna keep all of them, but I would say they're all kind of different. But yeah, they're unique. I mean, Paolo Banchero is obviously doing some things. Franz Wagner is doing some things. Besiktas 1-5. Wait, did Premier League start today? Yeah, Cole Anthony, I mean, he was doing a lot. Well, he was doing well when they had him as a starter. I think they go with Suggs because of the defense, though. I think they like Suggs as a defender, and he's big. He's about 6'4", and good athlete. And, oh, Turkey. Okay, okay, okay. Wow. Yeah. So Nella, you pay attention to all the leagues pretty much. Oh yeah. Nah, I try to pay attention to a little bit of everything. Yeah, a little bit of everything. No, that's cool. That's cool. Yeah. Yeah, I don't what is it? Galatasaray? They're in the Turkish league too, right? Yeah, you can't until Spain league comes. Oh, wait, you can't wait till wait. Oh, high school football? Are you in high school? Yeah. 10th grade. Wow. 10th grade. That's pretty cool, man. Ronaldo's the best player of all time. I mean, I can't argue with it. I wouldn't say he's not. Ronaldo is a heck of a player. He's a heck of a legend. I mean, he's making what, like $300 million a year or something like that in Saudi Arabia. Guys, guy is something else. You know what I mean? One of the greatest athletes this lifetime has ever seen. Ronaldo is special, special, special dude. Yeah. I'm gonna wrap this one up and then go to the LeBron James one. We might do some of these again though. Yeah, Mbappe is yeah, he's really good. He she's a she's a Real Madrid. Oh, I couldn't do Ronaldo. I wouldn't know Ronaldo well enough. I wouldn't know Ronaldo well enough, but in the future, I'm looking to expand this channel into soccer and things like that. At some point, not at this time though, but at some point, I'm trying to get to soccer. But once it gets to that level, I probably would not be doing a lot of these. So it probably wouldn't be me. It'll probably be other people probably doing a lot of these videos. I'll probably step away. I'll probably step away and just have other people conducting these videos. All right, I'm gonna do LeBron next.